Hey guys, what's up? It's Matt from Omerta Garage, and today I'm in Long Beach, California, and I am picking up a car that's coming in from Japan. And I wanted to kind of go through a few things you should know before importing a car from Japan in 2021, since the whole game has changed in 2020. 2021 is still a lot different. Just gonna touch bases on a few things you should do or know before you import a car. So let's start this video. All right guys, the first point we're gonna go through is prices. Prices of cars have nearly doubled. So let's just say a 240SX or a 180SX in Japan. Before you could maybe get them for like 8 to 9 grand, maybe 10 on the high side. Now they're around 14 all the way to 20 grand for a really good example. And to find them is another thing. Another thing that changed in price drastically too is gas prices. So I came from Northern California and the prices of gas was pretty drastic. And if you think California prices are bad, Japan prices are even worse. So that's another thing that went up in price. So there's gonna be a thing called an FOB. So basically when you buy a car in Japan, you're gonna pay an FOB price, and that's just basically the person that has the car driving it to the port. So the tow truck or the them driving it physically, which is not really allowed. On to the second point. What we're going to talk about is getting misled or somewhat kind of scammed. And it's not 100% like a scam where you send money and you absolutely don't get anything. I've just heard horror stories where people buy stuff off, like, let's just say Japan Partner or something. Like, I'm not trying to put them on blast, but I just heard a story recently with them and a few other private exporters as well, where let's just talk about a GTR Skyline. They buy a GTR Skyline for, you know, like 50-60 grand, which is quite a bit of money, and that should get you a pretty good looking GTR. Like I wouldn't say 100% OEM, but something that's pretty nice. And basically they describe it runs good, it has a straight body, no rust, but when you get the car, it doesn't run good, it's misfiring. Maybe you start knocking on the panels and it sounds like it's not metal, and it's like more Bondo than metal. So you hear a lot of people getting scammed in that way, where they're really just misled in what the quality of the car is. People just being completely dishonest. So the person I go through has been my friend for the last 5 to 6 years. And I've known him before he started exporting cars to the United States. He was doing it to other countries, but you know, I have a good relationship with him. Personally know him, we go drifting together, we're great friends. So he's very honest with me and very honest with my customers. So he has a good reputation with the car community. So you got to just have somebody that you know, or a friend of a friend, because to this point people are scamming pretty heavily, and I don't blame them in some sense. Like, I know it's really shady, don't get me wrong, but at the same time people are overpaying for cars and they're just seeing that opportunity. So you're putting yourself in a bad position. So I mean, people around the world scam, and Japan's no different nowadays. So, you know, people are just trying to get their money, and it's kind of messed up, but just be safe with your money and put it towards somebody that's going to get you a good car and that you trust. The third thing to worry about is something that always gets someone pissed off, because in 2019 when you bought a car in Japan, usually you'd see it within the month if all the paperwork went perfect. Well, nowadays there's not too much labor, so the boats aren't coming as often, they're not loading boats as often, so that wait list is massive. So just for me, it took me 3 to 4 months to get this car here, and it was during the worst part of this whole season. So it took a while. Just really book I guess the shipment, which sucks, but But at the same time, I'm a very patient person, but some people aren't. So that's one thing to consider, is that it's gonna take a lot longer now with the world just how it is in this state. Number 4 is kind of a no-brainer. So I already touched bases on a couple things, but where a lot of people don't realize is that everybody has to make money on the deal to go through. So my buddy in Japan, he doesn't do things for free. He doesn't go to the auction yard for free, which is like an hour and a half away, with prices of gas, tolls, maintenance on your truck. Nothing's free. Him loading your car onto a truck is not free. Him doing paperwork, so basically they have to deregister the car. That stuff's not for free. I mean, imagine if some random stranger told you to go to the DMV and wait in line for him for free. It doesn't make any sense. So that's another thing you got to consider, is that everybody is working and some people are making a living off this. So everything costs money. Tip number 5, and it's more kind of like what you need paperwork wise to get your car into the United States legally and partially registered at the DMV. So the thing you're gonna get from an exporter or an importer is going to be an export certificate, which is the Japanese title. They just deregister the Japanese title and make it into an export title. So that's 1. 2 is going to be a translated title, the same exact paperwork, just translated into English. The 3rd thing you're going to get from them is an ISF. So it's an import security filing or form, whatever way you want to say it. So that's something you would submit to customs, or your broker would submit to customs. The 4th thing you would need is an invoice. An invoice is very important and you need it, absolutely need it to bring it in. So that's the 4 documents you really need to get your car out of the port initially. I guess the 5th thing would be a delivery notice, which is just basically telling the port who's picking up your car and who you're trusting with that. And for me, I can't go into the port because I don't have a pass and I don't pay for that. That's not my profession to go inside the port because it's gated off and it's secured. So you need a special port pass to get in. So I have Lucky's Towing in Long Beach, California do it for me, and I've been working with them for 5 years. Awesome guys. So that would be the 5th thing you need, is a delivery notice. The other things you would need for the DMV would be basically what you get from your broker, which would be a 7501 form, and that's basically a customs entry form. So that just basically says you paid for your taxes, everything's legal, everything's good to go. The next thing you would need would be an HS7 form, which is basically the EPA and DOT standards. So your car has to meet at least a 21-year-old, it has to be 21 years old basically, so it doesn't have to conform to DOT and EPA standards. So that's something you need for the DMV. Those are the 2 main things. The other thing would be an what's the other one? A VP05, which is a VIN verification. In some states it might vary, but that's, for me, I register stuff in Nevada. So that's the form that you would need. If you want to talk about California, not the guy to talk to about California stuff. I think it's a waste of money. And if you want to go that route, just go to Top Rank, because Top Rank will hook you up with the whole smog thing. Not necessarily hook up, you're paying for what you get, but basically for a GTR, would you pay $8 grand to register it, or you go to Nevada and pay $100 to register it? I mean, that's exactly how it is, plain and simple. If you want to talk about California registration, go talk to them about it. I do not have any interest paying $7,900 more to register a car. I think that's ridiculous, and California is ridiculous when it comes down to things like that. And another thing to know about buying the car in Japan, don't expect an exporter to front you money to buy a car. They don't do that anymore. Like, they don't go to the auctions and front you money anymore, because it makes them look bad when someone I'm not gonna say like you, but someone that's watching this video that might want to buy, let's just say a GTR, and then they find a better deal, but the other car is already bought in auction, you know? Like, it happens, I get it, but no one's gonna front you money anymore. It's just like you getting scammed. They don't want to get scammed either, so they won't do that for you anymore. I know I'm bouncing around from subject to subject, but the whole import process, I'm just gonna go list by list exactly what happens, right? So there's the best deals you could get is when you have money in Japan already and someone's ready to throw down money to get a car. This other option would be one of my buddies or a friend of your friend has a car in Japan and you just want to buy it. Either one works good. So you buy the car. Next thing would be paperwork. So they would deregister the car and all that jazz. Get it booked to get onto a boat. So as soon as it gets on a boat, it takes around 2 weeks from Japan to California to get here. Car is on the way. You got to take care of all that paperwork. So when you get done with the paperwork, you basically have 5 days from the day it lands to pick it up without fees. So in that time, you want to hit up Lucky's Towing or whatever tow company you want to do to book an appointment to them take the car out of the port. From there, your car is all yours. So I'm taking it on a trailer, but you could also put a plate, whatever, you're gonna be bending the rules, but whatever. You put a plate from another car, drive it back if it's reliable. But one thing to notice is that for some reason, cars always come off the boat with a dead battery. I think it's like a safety issue where it's not gonna catch cars on fire or the boat on fire or something, but always the battery is drained. 2 is it never has gasoline in it, like enough to start and move around, but it's always on empty. Sometimes you'll get lucky and someone doesn't drain that stuff, but yeah, that's the process right there. All right, so the last tip I'm gonna give you is the history of the car in Japan. So sometimes when you buy it from a private party, there's not really any information other than what they know. So it's just like going on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. Someone in Japan goes and takes a look at the car, and that's really all they really know in history, unless they have maintenance records. But the other one would be if you get it at an auction, they'll have an auction sheet. But sometimes the auction sheets aren't 100% accurate. They have tens of thousands of cars to go through, so they're gonna miss a few things. So if you buy a car in auction, whoever you have in Japan looking at the car, they'll probably see the majority of the stuff, but there's gonna be a few things that they're gonna miss as well. Like one common one would be rust on the quarter panels or something, or damage on the quarter panels and someone just bondoed over. It's really hard to see stuff like that. Good thing my buddy is really good at identifying stuff like that. Like if it has a new paint job, you got to really look into it a little more. If it's a drift car, maybe there's some love taps underneath that bondo or that bodywork. But that's gonna be the last tip I'm gonna give you guys. And if you guys thought this video was helpful, if you can, just give me a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, go ahead. But I'm gonna go to Final Bout tomorrow to go film some stuff and take pictures, so stay tuned. I know it's been a while since I last uploaded, but I got more camera gear, more time on my hands, and less projects that I'm working on, so I'm stoked to have more time and make more videos. But tune in till next time. Thank you for watching.